Hello and welcome to Round Robin. I'm your host, Robin McCormick, with the city's Communications and Marketing Department. And today we're going to talk about one of the nonprofit agencies located in Hampton but serving the entire region that fills a huge void. My guest is the head of the Virginia Peninsula Foodbank, Karen Joyner. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Let's talk a little bit just in general about what the Foodbank does.
Okay, the food bank's the safety net for those who are in need of emergency food assistance, whether it's once, twice, from time to time, or on a regular basis. There's a great need on the peninsula for emergency food because we have a high rate of food insecurity across the greater peninsula.
It's so hard, you know, for some of us to really realize that that happens. You think, oh, you know, food stamps and the government programs take care of it, but it doesn't. It doesn't fill all of that need.
No, if you just get food stamps, you are forced to eat on about $4 a day, I believe. So that doesn't do everything that a family needs.
Especially with growing kids. I mean,
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, I've fed teenage boys, and it's a lot more than $4 a day.
Right. And that's why we focus on the children primarily. We have a couple of great child nutrition programs at the food bank. And 25% of everybody that we serve is a child under the age of 18.
Wow. Now, you guys don't always have direct service. A lot of times your food goes to other agencies that then distribute it to needy folks.
Absolutely. Actually, about 90% of our food gets distributed through the help of our partner agencies in the community. The reason we're set up that way is because we don't want people who are in need of emergency food to have to come all the way to our location in Hampton if they live in Newport News or Williamsburg or in Surrey County. We have a pretty large service area to have people come and get a box of food every time they need it. At our location in Hampton.
It's more efficient. You've got the really grassroots people in each of those communities who knows their community and knows their needs and, you know, can serve them directly. And then you guys are the big clearinghouse.
Absolutely. I like to think of us as the wholesaler, and our partner agencies are the retailers, where we have over 200 partner agencies in the community, and if somebody needs help, it's nice to know that they can walk down the street to their neighborhood church food pantry to get that help. They don't have to come all the way down to the food bank, although we do serve them directly as well.
Okay. So what are the big, I mean, you go through, basically, you're recruiting for donations and volunteers, I suppose, pretty much constantly. But there are peaks and valleys on when many of us pay attention.
Absolutely. We just came out of our most challenging time of year, and that's the summertime. Children are out of school, they're not getting the free and reduced price breakfast and lunch, so there's still a great need. We're distributing 25% of all our food during the months of June, July, and August, but we're only getting in about 9% of our food drives during that time. So if you were to come to the food bank right now and look at what we call our agency shopping floor, where we put the food for the agencies to come and access it, it's pretty bare right now. We don't have all the canned goods that we need during this time of year. We're on the downhill slope, and then October, November, and December, people think of the food bank because those are what we call the eating season.
It is. If you're, and I've gotten mailings from you, but if you're thinking about this huge spread for Thanksgiving, that is the time when you sort of think, oh my gosh, I have so much. And maybe other people don't have enough. And it's also a giving season a little bit when you come through the holiday period and you are thinking about others as well as yourself. So things pick up then, but you still have to kind of scream about it and get people's attention.
Right. It's a year-round problem. We truly appreciate our food and fund money donors, especially during that part of the year when people are in the mood to give. But we have to keep our awareness up throughout the year because there's such a great need throughout the year. And again, particularly in the summertime when kids are out of school.
Well, what if we were donating goods, Karen, what are the things that you typically need the most?
we need canned goods the most because our partner agencies appreciate having the canned goods that they can give to anybody, non-perishable. If they don't have freezer capacity, they can't necessarily take the wonderful meat that we happen to have or the dairy products, but everybody can take those canned goods. So when we are able to stock our shopping floor with a lot of canned goods, the agencies just come and take it all, and then we have to restock. And right now, we don't have very much to restock from.
All right, and by canned goods, give me some examples, because I think, vegetables are important, but if you don't have that protein, people need that.
Right, right. And we do, of course, accept canned vegetables as one of our top 10 items, as well as canned meats and tuna. Peanut butter is a great source of protein.
See, I don't think of peanut butter as canned food. Isn't that funny? I mean, I know it lives in my pantry, but it's, canned is in the can. So, okay, peanut butter,
right.
What else?
But we do like them to bring it in the plastic jars instead of the glass
plastic
jars. That's the
jelly,
important thing.
Jelly comes in plastic jars too.
Right, right. Peanut butter and jelly, chunky soups, pasta and pasta sauce, canned fruits and vegetables. We try and focus on the nutritional quality of the canned items. So those are the top items that we would like people to think of.
Okay. Now, the other thing though, and it's wonderful, I don't want to discourage anyone from giving canned goods, that's a great thing. But if people give cash, you have deals with wholesalers and food distributors where you could probably get 2 cans of food for the amount that I spend on one. So I assume cash donations are hugely important.
Absolutely. We can take $1 and turn it into about $6 or $7 worth of food. And the way that works is we do have those deals with national donors who want to donate to food banks around the country, and a lot of times we can get an entire truckload of food as long as we pay the freight. Or, like I said, we like to concentrate on nutritional food, so we often have to pay some nominal fees and the freight to get produce in. And when we get produce in, we're getting an entire truckload of produce.
And you got to move that fast because it's not going to last very long.
Absolutely.
That's a huge logistical challenge. How do you do that?
Well, we have those wonderful partner agencies that come and access it, absolutely free, of course. We also have mobile pantries where we take one of our trucks out into the community and distribute directly. We do that in areas where there's a great need and the agencies don't have the capacity to serve everybody in that area, or else there just isn't a partner agency there. And we partner with organizations in our community to do that, as well as the senior living sites and some low-income housing sites where we go.
Oh my gosh, and because you don't serve people directly all the time, you may not know, but ballpark, how many people do you think you're serving?
Oh, absolutely. We know how many people we're serving because once every 4 years, food banks around the country participate in a big research project called Hunger in America. And we just got those results last month. And although we know that there are about 74,000 individuals in our service area here that are considered food insecure, we actually served closer to 152,000 individuals. So there are people who don't.
Okay, food insecure must have a definition
Yes,
somewhere.
it does.
Okay. What does that mean?
The USDA defines food insecurity as not knowing where your next nutritious meal is coming from. Okay. So there's a difference between being hungry.
That's a pretty high level of poverty, though.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
it is.
So there may be other people, and particularly I think sometimes of some of the elderly folks who may be choosing between, medication and food, or for whom they're going to eat, but the donation allows them to really purchase other needs if they don't have to spend as much of their limited income on food.
That's one of the statistics that we receive every 4 years when we participate in this hunger study. And it showed that 68% of all the households that are served by our partner agencies have unpaid medical bills. At least 33% are choosing every single month between transportation and food, or medicine and food, or utilities and food. And often they're choosing between all of those things.
Right,
so those are the type of statistics we are able to access every 4 years because we go out and survey the individuals who are actually receiving the services of the food bank and our partner agencies.
Wow. Now, back to that food insecure number. 74,000, that's a large number. I mean, I know there's a lot of people in our market, and I'm trying to figure, is that 10%? Is that more than that?
It's about 14%.
Yeah.
And there are 7 food banks in the state of Virginia, and we have the highest rate of food insecurity in the state for our food bank.
Wow.
Hampton and Newport News are close to 17%, and Williamsburg is over 20%. So it's a problem.
Williamsburg, you don't think of that.
Well, you have the tourism industry, and you have low wages. People are getting laid off frequently, depending on the hills and valleys.
Right.
And they're living in hotels because they can't afford deposits in order to become a renter, and they certainly can't afford their own home. So yeah, we do have a high percentage, even though our population is less than some of the other service areas of food banks around the state. Our percentage of people in need is greater.
Wow. So, okay, I'm trying to do math in my head, and this is never a good thing. But if it's about 14, but you serve twice as many people, then that really means 28% of our population is in need of food at some time. Maybe not consistently every week,
right,
but at least has needs for supplemental nutrition.
Right. We call
that's
that
a big number.
152,000 is unduplicated, which means they have been to us or our partner agency at least once during the past year. It's not necessarily the people who come every month, but
right. Some of them might
at any
be regulars,
time
and some of them
they
might.
have needed our assistance. Yes.
Wow. Wow. So how many people do you think then contribute? Are we helping enough with the problem, or do we need to give more?
Well, we are in a area that's considered low resource because we don't have the big manufacturers in this area. We don't have a lot of large companies. So at the Virginia Peninsula Food Bank, we rely heavily on the donors who are able to give whatever they can. So I think we have about 9,000 individual donors that are giving. They may be giving us $10, $20. We don't necessarily get the big checks, but we depend on the community. And what I've found is this community really takes care of itself, so to speak. And we have thousands of people who just give us the smaller dollars, but they're consistent about it.
And
so
then you
that's
have
what I
the different
appreciate.
food drives, the one where the Postal Service helps, the one where, we just finished up one at City Hall for the past 2 weeks. I mean, I think it must take a lot of people, though, to run those constantly because, it isn't just you do it once and you're done, which it might feel like to some of us, the donors.
Right.
It just pops up into our consciousness, but you're working on that year round.
Right. We are running full speed. I was just talking to somebody the other day that says, in a nonprofit, you're always working. You're working at night. You're working at weekends because there are events all the time. And we don't like to say no to donors. We don't like to say no to events because you just, you need every dollar and every canned good that you get. So we don't have a big staff. We only have 38 people, and 6 of those are part-time. But we rely heavily on our volunteers. Last year we had over 31,000 volunteer hours that were contributed to the food bank, and we couldn't do that. We couldn't do what we do without volunteers. Obviously 38 people cannot do what we do.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure. You need day of caring, but you need more than that too.
Every day. And we're blessed that we do get volunteers every single day to come and help us sort the food, like you were mentioning,
like I've done before,
and help us at our mobile pantry locations.
And bag things. I think I remember that too, where you're packing backpacks,
for the children.
For children, or doing, meal collections, so things are together.
Right. Yep, we have a great, as I mentioned, a mobile pantry program, and we bag the food that goes out on the mobile pantry program. So we use a lot of volunteers to do that. We use a lot of volunteers to pack our backpacks. We're distributing 1,450 backpacks every single week during the school year. So that's a big program. And then just the volume of the food that comes in that's donated, it has to be looked at from food safety standpoint.
It does. You can get dented cans, or it can happen later, and you need to be careful. Well, Karen, okay, so here's the big question. Here's your pitch. Tell us how we can help. Tell us how we can volunteer and where to send money or how to participate in some of your drives.
Okay. Of course, I'm going to say this because it's true. Money goes further than our food does. So we really like people to donate money over food. Right now, however, we do have a dire need of canned goods.
Okay.
Until that season, November, December, when people start holding more of the food drives, we desperately need canned goods. But again, money helps us pay the bills. We have a $5,000 a month electric bill because we have huge freezers and refrigerators that we have to keep going. They can send any monetary donations to our location at 2401 Aluminum Avenue. We're located in Copeland Industrial Park, right off of 664.
It's really nice.
It's very convenient. And then, like I said, we need our volunteers, but we do ask that you contact us ahead of time if you want to express an interest for volunteering, because we do get a lot of inquiries. We get a lot of help from the military especially. So we have large groups that have already scheduled to come.
Okay. So call ahead and pick a time. Make sure there's something you could have us do.
Right. Our phone number is 596-7188. And Maria Quigley is our volunteer coordinator. So she is the one that keeps us straight as far as when we have availability for volunteers and when we need volunteers lined up for the future. We do have special events where we need volunteers, but we need volunteers every single day to make sure the food comes in and goes out and it's safe to eat.
All right.
So food drives, money, and volunteers, it takes all of those to make our organization successful.
All right, and we can watch for those. We can always call or look at your website. But I think, just being aware and realizing that almost a third of our population is in need of some food help at some time during the year and get served by this organization. So watch for those food drives and participate when it comes up, more than once a year.
Right. One of the easiest food drives that's coming up is the Mayflower Marathon, and that's the weekend, the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
You could just drive through and drop off food and drop off money.
That's a good one. The post office one is always a good one too, because they come to your house.
Right.
Or the Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts do it periodically. So just, be aware. Be aware and watch for those opportunities.
Yeah. And can I mention your City Hall food drive?
Yes.
Because we know how much money came in from the food drive. Our trucks are there right now picking up the food, but I understand it's a lot. But the money that came in from the City Hall food drive is enough for 2,100 meals.
That is wonderful.
We can distribute 4 meals for every dollar that comes in.
That's great. Well, thank you for coming by, Karen, and reminding us. And thank you for watching and also being reminded and realizing how many people out there in our community are in need of some help. And I hope you will pay attention the next time a drive comes around and or write a check to the food bank and try to help those in need. Thank you for watching.